Good afternoon. I am Michael James for Q News, and we are back with another one of our RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under recap interviews with our finalists. Now, they made it all the way to the end, and they all made an absolutely stellar showing on the show. And I'm very, very excited to have our next guest on the show. You might not recognize them today, but you will from the confessionals. It is the glorious and ever entertaining Karen from Finance. Good afternoon, Karen.
Hello, Michael. Hello, everybody. How you doing?
I am delightful. All the better for seeing your face.
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You must still be recovering from what has got to have been a whirlwind weekend.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild weekend. Just so much celebration. You know, I'm so happy with how everything played out. I thought it was a wonderful last episode. It was a beautiful way to wrap up a really fun season.
Yeah, it was. I always find the last episodes are always my least favorite because everything's so nice and it's so happy. Nobody does anything
but you
wrong.
Know what? Yeah, but that's what drag is. You know, drag isn't about things going wrong and it being nasty and ooh ah. Drag is lovely and it's a sisterhood, and I think the last episode really celebrated that.
Yeah, it did. I still just like a little bit of critique, but that's just me. I'm a bitch, so it's all right. But look, congratulations! You made it all the way to the end. When you first walked into the workroom, episode 1, did you think you were going to make it to the end, or did you go see all those other girls and go, "Oh, I'm in trouble"?
No, I walked in thinking that I would make it to the end, but I think that you have to. You can't walk into that workroom thinking, all right, I'm here for 2 episodes and I'll be happy at that. You know, you've got to go in with high hopes for yourself. That's I guess that's I'm not a sports person, but I imagine if you're gonna, I don't know, run a marathon or do a swimming race or whatever the cricket people do, you'd do the same thing. You know, you got to go in with high hopes and high expectations for yourself.
Absolutely. Now, you're interesting in that I suppose you had a profile before the show. And I remembered it the other day and I was like, I'm sure that Karen is the one, and she was hosting the viewing parties. And then she got in trouble from World of Wonder or Foxtel or somebody. And I looked up the other day and I was like, I'm right. She is.
Yeah.
You I suppose got a lot of exposure from that. And I think you built quite a big audience from that point or even before that point?
Well, I mean, I've been doing drag for just over 8 years now, and I have been building my following since day one, I guess. And I think my followings come from a lot of different places, and certainly that was one of my earliest kind of international moments of notoriety where I wrote a public letter to Foxtel demanding, well, they sent me a cease and desist, and I was really upset because I was throwing the most amazing like community-based screening parties. It was completely illegal, I understood, but they tried to shut me down, and I thought, no, like, you're not, that this is corporate greed here, and whether you like it or not, I'm running like an amazing community event that's bringing people together on Tuesday nights, and you want to shut this down? How about just put the show on, you know, like the same time as the US for us, so we can watch it legally and legitimately, and we can all be happy. And they weren't interested, so I took it to the internet, and it took about 3 weeks to turn around, and I was successful. By the time the next season came out, I don't know how it worked, but World of Wonder took the rights away from Foxtel and Stan purchased them, and we got All Stars 2, you know, same time as the US. So the rest is history.
So it's all your fault.
I like to think that I've got some responsibility in the matter. Yes.
I mean, that's fantastic because we did have to suffer that for so long. And I used to say, when they were talking about illegally downloading, I'm like, I wouldn't illegally download, and of course I never have, anything ever if you made it available for me and I would purchase it, I would pay for it to watch it. And I think that's the great thing about having Stan and these other streaming services is that now they bring us shows and we get RuPaul and we can watch at the same time and we can do it legally. So if you were a part of that, that's fantastic. Thank you.
That's totally right. It's the supply and demand, you know, and if they're not supplying it, you just got to demand it.
Absolutely. Well, and then you got to be on the show which you brought here, which was amazing.
Now I've been on this show. I know, it's a full circle moment. It's really funny.
It's beautiful. And you were beautiful on the show, and you brought a lot of heart and a lot of love and lightness to the show. And I really found it interesting that you really tried to, I suppose, challenge yourself and change yourself as where you needed to, and try and do things a little bit differently. Because it would have been so easy for that Karen from finance to be a box that you were kept in. And I felt like you really did different things, like, and they may not have always worked. Chappelle was interesting. It was a very different side of you when you did the talent show. How did you feel, I suppose, pulling yourself out of that mold and having to be a little bit of a different Karen and stretch yourself to, make something different for TV?
Yeah, of course. It probably would have been easier for me to stay in my box, but I don't think I would have done nearly as well or stayed nearly as long. I guess I've come as far as I have in my drag career because of the amount of work that I put in and the control that I have over what my output is. Whereas RuPaul's Drag Race is about the opposite. Ru wants to take you out of your comfort zone or out of your lane, if you will, and kind of create some vulnerability and really challenge you. And I like to think that I stepped up to the plate. And there's a lot of things that I would have liked to have done better, but I'm really proud of everything that I had to go at and the outcome. Even Chappelle Corby, I mean, it was. It's probably the only thing that I did on the show that I wouldn't do differently, because that outfit was awful, but I had so much fun doing that episode. I was completely delirious, but I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
Did you hear from Chappelle or any of the Corbys after that to say anything about that outfit?
No, I have heard nothing. Which only. I lay awake at night thinking that means that they hated it, If Art's heard from Bindi, then why haven't I heard from Chappelle Corby?
We must start the campaign. I think everybody needs to get there and get on the Instagrams, because Chappelle loves an Instagram, and get out there and get her to weigh in on that outfit.
Totally, it's free press.
Exactly, and she loves some free press, just quietly.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, maybe she could be on the next Drag Race Down Under.
Yes, maybe a judge.
So you went along on that journey, and it was a great evolution and a great story for you, and you get towards the end. And what was it like, I suppose, wrapping up and then having to wait those 2 months and wondering, is it going to be me or is it not? Where did your mind go there, and how much of a chance do you think you stood in getting towards the end, or getting the crown in?
Yeah, you consider every opportunity, don't you? I mean, to be completely honest, while we were on set, I felt like it was a ketamine win. And so I really was not surprised when that happened. I was expecting Keita to win it. But as we got closer and closer towards the end, every episode, I felt like my chances were, either lowering or higher. I had no idea. Right up until when RuPaul, how do I say this? She arranged her mouth in a way that she could say ketamine, but I saw the K coming out and I was like, oh my God, it's 50-50. Is it Keita or Karen? And so it was really right up until that point. I had no idea, but it went the way that I thought it would. It went the way that I was hoping it would, and it went the way that I wanted it to. Yeah.
That's the main thing. And the main thing is that you enjoyed it, and I suppose you got to the end. And as I've said to other contestants, it's really, and it's been proven so often around the international runs of this show, it's about what you do with the platform that you're given. And you don't need to win. You need to create a personality and a performance on the show that people love, and then take it from there. And I think that's what you managed to do. Everybody fell in love with Karen from Finance. She was adorable. And now they're going to want to follow you everywhere and see everything else that you have to do from here.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I have got to tell you, I actually just before this call, I just got back from I was down at the local shopping mall, and I got recognized. This girl saw me from over the way and yelled out, "Is that Karen from Finance?" And I was like, wow, this show is, a big deal. And for a second there, I thought about ketamine, and I wondered what's happening with her. And if she's at the mall and if someone would yell out, "Is that ketamine?" It's so much more inappropriate. But you're right. This being on the show is an amazing platform, and it's it's not about winning it. It's about what you do with your time on the show and what you do with that platform afterwards. And I am so excited. Now that the show's done, I feel like the rest of our life is only just beginning, and I can't wait to see where the rest of this journey takes us.
And what does Karen have up her sleeve? Is there a promotion on the cards? What is Karen going to be doing next?
Well, yeah, she's going to try and start climbing that corporate ladder now. I am happy to say I've got Karen's got a song coming out next week to celebrate the end of financial year. We're going to bring in the new financial year with a bang. So I've got a track coming out with a music video on the 1st of July. I'm a couple of weeks away from announcing a pretty big tour around Australia and New Zealand of my one-woman show Out of Office, which is really exciting. I've got a whole bunch of tricks and festivities up my sleeve for the future. So yeah, there's lots of fun stuff happening in the office.
Oh, beautiful. Well, we can't wait to see it all. And I'm sure we can get more information by following you on all of your socials. You're going to be Karen from Finance on all of the things, I'm assuming. Where do you like to be contacted best? Do you like to touch up on the Twitter, or you like some intimacy on the Instagram? What works for you?
Oh, hey, if you need to chat, you send me an email. It's on my website, which is karenfromfinance.com. But you're absolutely right. All the handles are Karen from Finance. You can't miss me. I've got the blue tick now, so you know it's real.
Oh, she's certified international
realness.
starlet.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Karen from Finance. It has been an absolute pleasure. For everybody else out there, make sure you continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel for any more of our video updates for everything else Q News, queer, and of course, Drag Race around the world. My name is Michael James. I will see you for our next interview. And thank you very much, the glorious Karen from Finance, for joining us.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Bye.